I don't like my neighbor, so I make a couple of phone calls. I'm home while taking some time off from my job when, in the wee hours of the night, I hear music. It's loud, it's horrible, and it irritates me. But I put up with it and get a few more hours sleep after I put some earplugs in. After I wake up later that morning, I bring it up with my next door neighbors. They dredge up a tale about this scumbag. We shall call him Dennis. He moved into my neighborhood several months ago. When he moved in, he was the nicest guy. Outgoing, social, talking to everybody in sight. That lasted about a week. /relevant, then, he defaulted to what seems like his normal behavior. He blasts bad music that penetrates my apartment 50 meters away, most often when the sun goes down and right before it comes up, and the hours in between just to round it off. He has a car and 2 motorcycles parked on the street, collecting dirt. Neighbors assume they're non-functional because they haven't been moved in 3 months and no one has ever seen them being used. No one can confirm that they were actually driven to their current resting place when he moved in. He has 2 dogs on choke chains. He beats them more often than he feeds them. The next door neighbors can hear the yelping. I have been told that these dogs have caused injury to at least one person, if not more. He has people going in and out of his place at all hours. Not a problem. The problem is that about half the time the people who drop by are staggeringly drunk or obnoxious, or both. Dennis himself is a mean drunk, and both neighbors and passers-by have been subjected to his invective on a regular basis. Neighbors have put in multiple complaints, but visits by local government officials to keep the noise down are met with compliance for a few days, then it's back to whatever he was up to before. Everybody within hearing distance hates him with a passion, but no one says a word to his face. Dennis has never said it outright and no one has found proof, but everyone suspects he's an entrepreneur of controlled substances. And no one wants to point the finger because he knows who his neighbors are. Told you it was relevant. No way, nobody deals in my neighborhood. I will not comment on the efficiency or the integrity of our local police force, but these Leos work and have worked in an environment of temptation and corruption, with those on the bottom rung getting less than $600 a month. That amount figures in a 100% salary increase went into effect just this past January 2018. At the end of the day, they all just want to get back to their families in one piece. DIA, however, don't give a fuck. They'll go after anybody. Elected officials, organized crime, high rollers. Zero fucks. They're busy, as they tend to go after the big fish. The president has given them pretty much carte blanche, and he gives zero fucks too. I decide to roll the dice. I've had my fair share of time working with Leos as an EMT, and I once did someone a favor a long time ago. I pull out an old, worn card out of my stack of professional contacts. Only one of the numbers is still working, but the person I spoke to gives me an updated number. I call and get in touch Mr. PDL. He's no longer with PDIA, but he knows someone who still is. We talk for about 30 minutes, and he asks all kinds of questions. When he's satisfied, he tells me he can't promise anything, then hangs up. Honestly, I don't expect much either. 2 weeks later, I wake up and go on my daily walk to buy some fresh bread down the street when the cute girl working there tells me the cops were all over the place early that morning just when they were putting in the first batch of yummy in the ovens. I don't make the connection and ask her out, again, and she turns me down, again. It's now a running joke between us, and buy my bread. The following day, next door neighbor knocks on my door and asks whether or not I knew Dennis had been arrested. I shrug and say, nope, can't say I know anything about that. The house stayed empty for a while after, but I just saw a new family moving in today which reminded me of the entire thing. Honestly, I don't know whether or not my phone call had anything to do with Dennis' arrest, and I'm not about to call anybody in law up to ask them. I may not have put up with Dennis' douchebaggery for any length of time, but my neighbors certainly have. So, I'll leave it up to the sub to judge on merit whether this constitutes actual revenge or not, because, TLDR, I may or may not have called a drug raid on my neighbor because I, and my other neighbors, wanted a peaceful night's sleep. Barangay Tanod, glorified neighborhood watch with sticks and reflective vests, a good idea in theory but mostly useless in actual practice. Edit, formatting.